early is on time is too late, and too late is unacceptable.
Yeah, it's just like, come on.
So, here, I'm going to put you in the party chat, and then I'm going to go into the back room. Everyone. Whoops, wrong button. Okay, welcome to Ultimate Truth, where we tell the truth, the whole truth, the ultimate truth. And I am your host for the evening, the master of ceremonies, the man who cannot find his right sock, the master of ceremonies, like I said, Mr. Grimlock. And we are being sponsored by One Gear Radio. Download the one app that'll grind your gears, where we play all the kinds of music from the 60s to today's music. Download the one app that grinds your gears, One Gear Radio. Also, download the app Rumble, subscribe, like, share, that sort of thing. And we will be replaying this show as soon as our bot, the guy who runs the bot that is in front of me, Tyree, the world traveler, as he likes to be known as, if he comes to your world, you have succeeded. So he'll promote your world, and whatever it is he does it really well. So we want to thank Tyree for donating his time for the bot and posting up the stuff on Rumble, which usually gets done within the next couple of days, as we all have busy work schedules, me, him, everybody. But our co-host should hopefully be here very soon, and we are going to talk about addictions today. Now, most people, what is an addiction? It is something that people have a tendency to do over and over and over again, and sometimes they know about it and sometimes they don't know about it. It could be very habit forming. Sometimes it could lead into an OCD. We have various types of addictions, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about food addiction. We're going to talk about drug and alcohol addiction, and we're going to talk about video game addiction, and we're going to talk about porn addiction and sex addiction. Now, my co-host should be here very soon. She's running a little late today, but that's fine. We're going to start the show. She'll come in, and we're going to continue on. So she's going to do drug and alcohol, and she's also going to do, I believe it's video game addiction, whereas I'm going to do food and the porn and sex addiction. So sit back, because it's going to be an awesome show. And remember, download the app One Gear Radio, or go to the website onegearradio.com, as we are getting our station to get even better than what we've got going on right now. So also, with much further ado, please download that Rumble app. Go to your app store, download Rumble, and look up Gear Radio, and like and subscribe to us. All right, so as it is, we're going to get started with the show. And what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to talk about first, is food addiction. And with food addiction, hold on one second. I got my notes right here. Food cravings may cause weight gain in patients with schizophrenia. It has been investigated that psychological characters associated with food cravings in patients with first episode psychosis, which I'm assuming that probably just means it's a lower form of psychosis. The people have addictions to, food in general, or they may have addictions to just one type of food, like chocolate or just pizza or soda, that sort of thing. Now, people with food addictions sometimes don't know it, but it could cause problems like weight gain, and then high blood pressure, and stuff like that. People who around all day and just do nothing but eat food because they get bored, or their lifestyle just doesn't afford them to do the things that they would like to do in life. So you have to watch food addiction. Okay. Like I said, we all have addictions to cravings and stuff like that, but cravings is not generally a food addiction. Okay. If food addiction is you either have to eat all the time. I mean, there are some people that even crave food when they're being intimate with their partner, but I'll get to that later. Some people equate food addictions to helping them to heal, because maybe they broke up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, or they don't feel loved, or they just feel isolated from society. So that could cause them to start eating. And of course, with eating comes the unfortunate weight gain and the not wanting to motivate themselves to do anything. But some people can still be in terrific shape and still have a food addiction simply because they crave food. It's just something in their life that they absolutely have to have in order to survive. Or mentally think they have to have in order to survive. So, like some people might just like all the time, like I was saying, crave soda, which is also not good. But there are also healthy foods they could crave, like carrots or even bananas. I mean, so it's not just junk food that the addiction might be to. It might be an addiction to health food. Maybe people don't think that they're getting enough healthy food in their diet, so then they get a food addiction. So that also kind of causes things, and it's a psychosis that can. I mean, I guess eating healthy foods is not bad for you, but it's, as someone who has studied nutrition and who is an ex-Navy chef, you have to go in moderation with food, okay? Because that's what they say: eat the 4 food groups, but in moderation. It's okay to eat sweets and candy and chocolate and whatever once in a while, but don't the problem is the sugar in there interacts with the body, and it has a tendency to become an addiction, like especially like chocolate, cookies, pie, and stuff like that can actually cause the body to crave the sugar. I know at one time I used to drink an inordinate amounts of soda, and I used to be able to drink a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi and then go right to bed. So, but it starts to affect you as, of course, you get older and you become less active. So, food addictions can also be bad, but it also, even if you eat the healthy foods, you've got to kind of watch how much you eat, because boredom can really cause food addiction to manifest itself even more. It also says that first episode psychosis patients taking antipsychotics for 3 months or less. The strength of food cravings was measured using the general food craving questionnaire trait. Psychological characteristics and psychiatric symptoms were investigated with the positive negative symptom scale, which is known as PANS for short. And associations between oh no, wait a minute, hold on a minute. We also conducted sex status stratified analysis. Food cravings in patients with third episode psychosis, which were associated with weight gain, were influenced by perceived stress in females. To reduce food cravings in female patients with schizophrenia, interventions aimed at perceived stress should be considered. So yeah, just like I was saying, we have a tendency to, when we're stressed or when we're upset, to eat. And sometimes our body releases chemicals that want us to eat unhealthy. So there goes by the chocolate, because they always say that chocolate is a stimulant that helps us to increase endorphins because it's so good. So we've got that going for us. But, like I said, you really should watch how much you eat, what it is that you do, and don't worry about it. Get some extra, even if you decide to just take a walk around the block. I mean, take 10 minutes, walk around the block. Even on the Oculus, there's extra grams that you can look into. I mean, it really isn't that much to even just get in your house and just clean something, for example. I mean, just the exercise and cleaning something, walking up and down. If you have stairs in your house, walk up and down your stairs. So yes, food addiction, even if you eat healthy foods, can be bad for you, especially if you don't eat in moderation. So we're going to move on to the sex and porn addiction. Now, that's a greater detail of stuff. Now, there's sex addiction and porn addiction, you would think are in the same categories, but they are not. Most of the time, porn is something that you watch. And yes, just like regular TV, we get addicted to, watching that sort of stuff. But you get to the point where, and a lot of time, I would say that people who are into the the porn addiction in itself is because they like to watch. So maybe there's a little bit of, liking to watch that sort of thing, a voyeur, so to speak. So, but you got to watch your porn addiction because it's been found out that men have a tendency to become desensitized because they see what they see on the TV, and they have a tendency to think that that's what makes a woman happy or that's what will make them happy. So porn addiction, it kind of not allows you to actually see what is going on in the real world, because obviously sex is between two people, but with porn generally the average male watches more porn than obviously females. So in that instance, guys, they watch it because either they don't feel loved or they have desires. We are men, we do have desires, not saying that women don't. There are a portion of women that do watch porn and do get addicted to it, but generally women get addicted to porn because for them it's the emotional state, not just the arousal state. So when you get addicted to watching stuff like that, there are multiple things that can happen. You can actually desensitize your body to touch, to feeling, to even some cases, people get to the point where they won't get aroused unless they actually see porn, and that way also increases the ability of not I shouldn't say the ability, it increases the psychosis of voyeurism, the addiction to voyeurism in that instance when you watch porn all the time. There are multitudes of porn. When I did a radio station as the Almighty One, I saw things that I didn't understand that were actually true. Are people that are addicted to clown porn. There are people that are addicted to food porn, which again, that's the art of eating food while you are making love, and there are videos for that in the porn industry. There are foot fetishes. There are fetishes for black women, white women, Asian women, Indian women, Russian women, Ukraine women. So, there's so many things out there. People can get addicted to porn with women with small breasts or big breasts, or bigger, larger women, or really petite women. So it's for porn. It just kind of desensitizes people, and it doesn't allow them to see sex, which gets into the sex addiction. They see what happens on TV and they think that that's what will make a woman happy. They think that's what sex is all about, especially with the internet age and the being able to watch stuff on the computers, through your phones, through your tablets. It's not just VCR tapes anymore or magazines like I grew up with. So that kind of has a tendency to desensitize too. So, not saying that porn is a bad thing. If you want to watch it, that's your thing. I don't generally watch that really anymore, simply because it's once you've seen it, you've seen it. Then we're going to get into sex addiction. With sex addiction, people have a tendency to get into sex addictions because, well, there's many various reasons for that as well. We have a tendency as human beings to need to feel appreciated. And some people can only feel appreciated by having sex. And so for them, it becomes an addiction because something neurologically in their brain, or maybe they didn't get enough affection when they were a child, or maybe they didn't have enough girlfriends or boyfriends when they were growing up because they were unpopular in high school. So with sex addiction, it brings out the worst in us simply because we have the tendency to believe that that's what's going to make us happy. So for sex addiction, you also can, I mean, you can actually say also sex addiction can also be a single player's game too, in a sense. So for sex addiction, what we're also looking at and what we're also looking for, I've seen, I actually I could actually used to say I technically also have a sex addiction myself. The need and the craving is there. I don't understand why, but the need and the craving is there. It's the endorphins. It's because when for a guy, and I'm assuming for most women, there's certain endorphins that get released, and for us, that's an actual high. So it's like smoking a blunt or doing something to that effect. Sometimes drugs or even alcohol that also can occur, create endorphins as well. So that high you feel from having sex is what most men and women, when they have a sex addiction, that is what they're craving. It's not so much that they desire the sex, it's more than like they desire the endorphins that are released into your brain and into your body when you are in that moment. So they want more and they want more and they want more. So there's cravings for that. So there is help that you can get there. I believe there's some medications that you can take for that. I would suggest to actually see a therapist. There are therapists that deal in just sex addiction to help you minimize your thoughts of the desire for those endorphins that are released in your body. It's the same thing for porn addiction. There are actually people that can actually go to group therapy for that sort of thing. So, with that, I'm going to pause this right here, and we are waiting for our co-host to come on. So that is my speech on sex addiction and porn addiction, as well as food addiction. So if you'll give me 1 minute, we're going to try to find out where our co-host is, and we're going to get her to try and talk about the video game and the food, or excuse me, the drug and alcohol addiction. So give me 1 minute. We'll be right back. You texted that to me. I'm rambling. No, I was not rambling. That's what I was going to say. Okay, well, she said she just got back, whatever that means. No, she said she just got back. I don't know what that means. Are you coming on? Okay, well, I don't know what to do here. I don't know. Oh, there she is. Oof, don't do. Okay, we have got our co-host back. She had to go take care of some personal stuff, but thank you for coming, Miss Star Morning.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, I'm late. I'm sorry.
Well, I got done talking about food addiction, which was generally there are tendency for schizophrenic patients to have food addiction, or people that are upset that have food addictions or get food addictions. Now, food addiction doesn't mean it's always just about bad food. You can have food addiction to cravings to healthy food. Like you're not getting enough vitamins, so you get, you eat and eat healthy food too.
Yeah, if you refer back to my 600-pound life, that's a prime example of food addiction.
Exactly.
People are eating themselves to death. Recently, a couple months back, they had a contestant ended up eating himself to death. So it was really nothing they could do. Eventually,
Right.
people will
And
cut.
it's not just all
People,
food. Somebody can just have an addiction to just one food.
yeah, I just got finished watching a documentary. A lady who goes through about 10,000 ice cream bars.
Oof.
That is like the average ice cream like usage from like a person in 1 year.
I
She
don't
eats
even
that
think
in
I
one
eat
month.
that much ice cream in 1 year.
She
But
eats
yeah,
that in
so
1 month though.
food addictions can cause weight gain, which can cause high blood pressures, and there are various
Diabetes, high
diabetes,
cholesterol.
exactly. And there are many
It's a lot of
reasons
sugar
why food
addiction.
addictions come out is because people just love food because they love the taste. I was also interjecting that feelings can cause food addictions, like when you're upset.
Oh yeah,
Now,
and
which is
that was
now
the yeah.
there's a
I think
difference
that's the
between a
reason
food
why.
addiction and a craving. Like, all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm craving, like I don't know, a Three Musketeers bar.
Yuck.
But that's not that doesn't mean I'm gonna go eat 1,000 Three Musketeer bars.
I can understand that pain.
Mm,
Three
mm.
Musketeers is the
Then
worst.
okay. Turn off the.
Uh, is that sign for end the show?
I don't know. So anyway, so I wanted, and then I just got done talking about sex and porn addiction. I went through my spiel there. Now you wanted to talk about video game addiction and
Alcohol.
drug and alcohol
Alcohol.
addiction. Which one did you want to
I'm just
start
gonna
with
do
first?
alcohol. I'm just
Oh,
gonna do
okay.
alcohol. Yeah. So recently, I had lost my father to alcohol addiction. Um, I found him in a car. He had basically passed out from the alcohol, and the car reached temperatures up to 120 degrees. And by the
Oof.
time we found him, it was too late. So I always my dad always called it a curse in our family. It's always bound to be one person or a group of siblings to get this alcohol addiction. Like my grandfather also has an addiction. He also has a drug addiction as well. So it's a combination of a both or just one. It is a curse. So um coming from that experience, just growing up with a father that had an alcohol addiction, it was scary, it was scary, it was traumatic, and just watching your father just fall apart because of the divorce is heartbreaking, but who would
Yeah.
have known that alcohol would have been his demise.
I'm sorry for
I've
your
all
loss on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always told my dad, like, slow down, you're not getting any younger. He wasn't even 50. He was 47 years old. He
Wow.
wasn't even 50.
Wow.
I'm gonna let you guys know alcohol will shorten your life, whether
Hmm.
physically or mentally. And it did
Now,
both to my dad.
what do you think are some of the effects of why people get into alcoholism?
Heartbreak, depression. My dad drank because he was depressed, All his kids grew up and didn't really need him anymore, is what he called it. His wife left him, but it was only because of his own accord, i.e. cheating or narcissism or abuse or anything like that. It's just that, it's all in the head. People can get through alcohol. I just, like me personally, I'm 1 year sober. I used to drink heavily.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I used to drink heavily myself until my dad cussed me out one good time. And I realized like it took me to like urinate on myself to like realize that, hey, I'm drinking way too fast. That was the
Now,
first and last time.
do you think that age plays into it? Because obviously, when you turn
It does.
21,
Well,
you
yeah,
want to
you got
drink, you want to
so
drink, you want to drink, and then there's that aspect of you're still young. You think you got the whole your whole life ahead of you.
but say I mean like I had my first taste of alcohol, I ain't gonna lie, I was like 8 and it was by accident.
Oof.
I thought that my grandmother's beer was some type of soda and I just drank the whole can. And yeah. Yeah, my dad
No.
told me that my dad kept telling me that story over and over again, and I'm trying to remember bits and pieces of it. But I do remember like picking up a beer can and drinking the whole thing, and then I'm drunk for the rest of the night. Because,
Yeah. Well,
8-year-old small body me.
exactly. Well, in my day, when the adults were drinking, they send the kids to the refrigerator to go get a can of beer or something like that. And, we kid.
Hmm.
I mean, I remember being 7 years old, popping the top of the beer and just taking a little sip.
Yeah.
Or
Nowadays, there is no alcohol in my house whatsoever.
yeah,
I
there's
try
none
to
in my
encourage
house.
my husband to completely like stop drinking, but I talked to my therapist. I got some help for it. And even my therapist said I was wrong for trying to convince other people to stop drinking.
Right.
You have to want to stop drinking.
Exactly. I think
And
for
that's where I went wrong with my dad, trying to make him stop.
exactly. I think for me is I picked up an Alcoholics Anonymous pamphlet about drinking, and I saw some of the what could happen, and I just decided at a young age I was not going to become an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Now, do you think your parents' influence was part of the reason as to why you decided to start drinking?
Give me that tiny cup. All right, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said, do you think it's some of your parental influence that not
Yeah.
just peer pressure, but parental
No,
influence?
yeah, just watching my dad. I think when I saw my dad like, continuously drink, I got curious. So I took a sip of what was the first drink I had ever? Taylor Port, wasn't it? I think I had Taylor Port for the first time. And one cup put me like in a good mood. I'm just saying it put me in a good mood. Like I felt what my dad was feeling, but as I continuously began to drink, it began to hurt, especially in the morning.
Exactly.
It hurts.
Headaches, nausea. So, I know
Stomach
when
aches, and nowadays
exactly.
I can't. Yeah, but I say I
I
can't
know
drink alcohol at all nowadays.
like when I was a kid and my parents would allow us to like to drink a sip of wine or something to that. I
Yeah,
remember bragging one time like, "Oh, I guess my body can handle alcohol and I can drink anything." So my dad gave me a little smidgen of vodka. I mean, it
ooh,
was
Lord,
barely covering the bottom, and I drank it and I was like, "Oh, my throat." Yeah,
gosh,
I
the
don't drink
burn.
vodka because of
I
that.
mean, I heard vodka is just regular rubbing alcohol.
Vodka's fermented potatoes.
I mean that, but it's just the smell is just rubbing alcohol. You're
I
drinking rubbing alcohol.
Well, I don't think I've ever smelled vodka, but
Have you
I don't
tried
drink it.
Fireball?
No, like I said, I'm for me, it's always been a straight beer. I never
Yuck.
got into all that. It's always been beer.
Yeah,
And although I
like
did
I
get
said,
into like schnapps, I like schnapps.
I don't know what that is, but I try to convince people like, hey, weed is better. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, weed is better. Drinking just hurts. It just hurts. It don't make you feel good after, like maybe after the first drink, after the first 1 or 2 shots, yeah, but after that, no, it just hurts.
So, what are some of the long-term effects of alcohol?
Man, do I have a list for you because I watched my dad go through it.
Go ahead. I'm all ears.
So my dad's teeth was rotting from the inside out. He had
Hmm.
severe liver damage. What are you doing? What did he have? Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My husband came in. He gave me the wrong food, apparently. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, so my dad's teeth was rotting because he wasn't taking care of his mouth. Ended up losing the first, like the front tooth. He lost that tooth completely. So you just see my dad smile and just a straight hole in his mouth.
Ugh.
Hair loss. He lost all of his hair. He was bald. Yep. The body smell is it was a little strong. I'm not gonna say it was bad. It was a little strong. Weight gain. Oh my
Weight
God.
gain.
Weight gain was the biggest one. My dad had
Mhm.
that typical, dad bod, but looking a little pregnant. I'm
The
just
beer
saying.
belly.
The beer belly. Mobility. Oh, his thought process. I thought he had early stage dementia by the time he passed away, because he was always forgetting stuff. Like he forgot my graduation from college. He didn't show up.
Wow.
He actually came to my brother's graduation drunk. It was bad because he forgot. He forgets stuff. But I
Yeah.
say alcohol can cause dementia. Yes, it can.
Yep.
The yellowy of the eyes, the same effect as smoking would do. Like when people have a smoking addiction, the yellowy eyes, the wrinkling skin, it's the same effect. And I watched it happen. And I watched it literally withers you away. That's what the after effects are. It withers you away completely. It was just too late for once a person has been drinking for so long, like give it like 15 years. No, my dad's been drinking for 35 years. He's been drinking since college days. It was too late.
Yeah.
It was already too late. There was nothing we could do. We done
Well,
sent him to.
I don't think that really alcohol became a big thing until like the 80s.
Well, my
Now,
dad was born. He was born in 1972.
right, I understand that. I was born in 1969. A lot of uh education about alcohol was very limited, and once the 80s started hitting around, when Mothers Against Drunk Drivers formed, which was mad, because
I'm against that too. My dad used to drink and drive. Matter of fact, drinking is when you drink so much, it's so bad that I had to pick my dad up off the side of the street.
yep.
He had no pants on. I had to
Yeah.
save him from a predator charge, basically.
Right. And what the bad thing about it is, like, for people my age, when we were growing up in the 60s and the 70s, there really wasn't a lot of education about what alcohol does to your body. And then it started picking up in this, the late 70s, early 80s. And that's when, groups like MAD and GLAD and stuff like that came out for, to help stop alcohol abuse. And so, like, my uncles were heavy drinkers, and I'm thanking God that my dad, during my, I guess you could say, formative years, he didn't drink. That's why I don't drink.
I used to take like water and like pour out most of the liquor for him, and then fill up the rest with water. So he'll get a little taste of it, but he can hardly taste it. That's what I did for my dad. But as far as that, that brings me to like video game addiction as well. So video game addiction is when someone is constantly playing their game. They have not left that chair, that gaming chair they bought for that awesome 4K HD 1080p HP.
Now
Babylon
you're talking about my TV now.
Listen, I'm just saying, like my brother, I think he has a video game addiction. He'll be in his room for days at a time. My ex stepmom will constantly bring him food and water to make sure he eating some stuff. And he's just in his room, just pew 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 on Fortnite. It's bad.
Oh my God!
And I told
that's the worst.
It is the worst. I told my brother, like, listen, you have to do something way more than just video games. So after that, he just started getting into skating. He got into like bodybuilding, like my dad. I'm like, okay, then we're making some progress. I had stopped my brother from the source. I had to stop him. Addiction just runs through the family. It runs through the family. I think it's a habit you could pick up. and I really think it's also genetic as well.
I think it's as a guy who likes video games, it's also about an accomplishment.
I'm just talking about addiction in general, though.
Right, right. Some people get addicted to the video games because they feel like they've accomplished something, and they need to get that thrill or to accomplish something.
Some people use it to earn money, by all means, but even those people aren't addicted to it.
I never understood that. I grew up in the wrong era.
Listen, you got PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye.
Yeah,
all those people make
all these
money
people
from
on
it.
Twitch, and they just sit around and play video games.
Yeah, I'm
all
about
day.
to say, let's see, I Show Speed, even Andrew Tate, he does it too. It's just that he don't do it often.
Right. And video games. Now, I grew up in the actual. You had to go to the arcade and put the quarter in the,
the video game. See, that's what Frankie Fun Park is down here.
Yeah,
I think it's a franchise. It should be one in Florida.
I don't know, but we have what's the one down here? Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's.
We have another game time. We actually, but video games have gotten so much different. You don't put quarters in the machine anymore. Like here's $5, and that would last you an hour.
I could buy that same game on my Xbox. Hold on.
Right.
Are you playing Pac-Man? I got Pac-Man here for free.
I know, right? But with places like Dave and Buster's, you get the tickets.
I mean,
you get the prizes.
They got the card now.
Yeah, they did. It used to be like, hey, here's $5, go play for an hour. Now, $5 nowadays, you play for 10 minutes. Like,
$5 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, something to that effect. Like, unless you're really good at the game, you're gonna. So video game addictions. Which started with the arcades.
If you do have an addiction, please seek help, because once it's too late, it's too late.
Exactly.
Late.
And
there
you never
is no
know
way to reverse it, and you'll never know what happens in the future. As per experience from me, I lost my dad at the age of 24. That's too young to lose your dad. I didn't get a chance for him to walk me down the aisle yet. I will never get that chance again. So please, if you have an addiction or a loved one has an addiction, please get them some help, and you get some help, therapy, some guidance. It's just friends, family. Rely on them. Talk to them.
There's even I found a rare condition today that actually people can get addicted to psychology.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a condition called psychological addiction. Like, for me, I love psychology. And, if I could find something that dealt with psychology, I was all in it. And there were things that I was doing that weren't exactly what you would consider, quote unquote, normal in today's society. So I got addicted to things that were involved with psychology. And so, you can get addicted to psychology.
Huh.
It's a rare condition, but it's a condition that, because you want to figure out how things work psychologically, the human brain, or people's emotions. Yeah. But we got an audience member in here. Would you like to ask a question?
Mr. Field Dog 46.
We were talking about drug addictions, porn addictions, sex addictions, food addictions.
I am just listening and observing.
Okay.
I appreciate the topic.
Okay.
And if I want to contribute, I will gladly step up to the microphone and state my piece.
Well, not a problem. We just want to make sure and see if you wanted to participate.
Not at all, but you have a very good point, Star, about addiction. I appreciate your vantage point.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry about your father.
Yeah,
we're all sorry about your father.
You don't understand how I'm still grieving. He died back in April. I'm still grieving, and I'm still wishing I could have done something that Sunday. I could have saved him. I could have did something. If I had known, if that was going to be my last hug the Friday I had saw him, If I had known that was going to be the very last hug I get from him, I would have stayed with him that day.
Mm,
I would have stayed there for 2 days straight,
yeah.
making sure he's good.
That's
Well,
understandable.
a good friend. I had a good
Hold on,
friend in high
let him
school.
speak
I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
Are you seeking any therapy to help you kind of get
Oh
over?
yeah, I have about
Okay.
3 therapists, a
Okay.
pastor calling me almost every day, making sure I'm good.
That's
I have
good.
my husband here, who's also a therapist. He's talking to me, making sure I'm okay,
Good.
and not always, reminiscing on the past or what I could have done or what I should have done.
Okay.
He's keeping me from doing that because over like when over this is happening right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying not to tear up.
Well, we
Um,
don't want that, man.
no,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
I'm trying not to tear up. I'm trying not to tear up. It's all right. But I'm still grieving. I lost over 15 pounds because I wouldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. So I got rushed to the hospital and I
Mm,
got put on some medication, some antidepressants,
mhm.
and a Medicaid. They tried to put me on Xanax. I didn't want Xanax. That's a very
No.
addictive drug. A very addictive
Yes.
drug. So they put me on
Yes.
Atarax, which is it's a little weaker than Xanax, but it's similar.
Right.
So I don't take my Atarax anymore because I don't need it because it's for the anxiety. But
Understood.
yeah, but I'm also
But just
trying to
just
wean
take your
myself off.
time. Just take your
Yeah, I'm
time.
trying to wean myself off all those pills because I don't like taking medicine. That was just never my thing. I don't like going to the doctor. It's just not my thing.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
I needed it at that point because they were going to. I got sent to the psych ward because I flipped my shit. Like I really lost it. Like everything in my head broke. It felt like you take a hammer
Yeah.
and you put it against a mirror. That's how I felt.
Exactly.
Shattered.
Exactly. I know a friend of mine back when I was in high school, he got he got on something. I don't know what it was, but he ended up killing his girlfriend, who just so happened to be my best friend as well. And they were both my best friends. And I mean, just the I mean, that's why I don't do drugs either, just because I just know.
And that's the thing, though. I've at from what I've seen, people tweak out on more alcohol than drugs. I listen to me. I found my dad on the side of the road, butt naked, no pants on. I saw my first apartment. That was disturbing.
Yep.
And then on top of that, he went into a liquor store and he destroyed almost $500 worth of merchandise.
Ooh.
I had to use his credit card, which is already maxed out, and pay them back from him breaking 100 proof bourbon whiskey.
Ooh.
About 10 bottles. 10 bottles.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
$500 by itself.
Yep. Thank
And
God
then
it
on
wasn't
top of that,
cognac.
he got banned from so many places in Colombia. His picture is still up in Publix, nearby to where I used to live at.
Wow.
But
For
now
those who don't know,
it's
Publix is a local grocery store here in the
because
South.
he went into the store drunk and caused havoc. He did it in restaurants. It's just alcohol makes you so aggressive.
Let me ask you this respectfully: did he have any like mental issues or anything?
Yes, he did.
So
He was
is
depressed
it
heavily. If I would have,
okay?
if the definition of depression, if you were to look that up, the first thing you see is my dad. I promise you right there. My dad was depressed because
Yeah.
listen, he has 4 kids, right? I'm the second oldest out of 4.
Mhm.
All of his kids grew up. He had no little babies to take care of. He got depressed from that. My ex stepmom left him for his cheating. He got depressed from that. But he won't understand it. It was his fault too.
Mm.
Yeah.
He had to cut off all his hair and it just never grew back. He was depressed. He had the most gorgeous locks. I got locks in my hair right now in his honor. He had the most gorgeous, long, luscious locks and he had to cut them off.
Wow.
And it just never grew back.
Mm.
Sorry to hear that. I know depression and alcohol can go hand in hand, and it's sad. And thankfully there are people who are strong enough who don't feel the need for alcohol. They destroy themselves in other ways and get addicted to doing other things, like food.
I sent him and paid for rehab 3 times for him.
Damn.
I put myself in debt for that.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing that I put myself in debt to save my dad and I couldn't do it.
So drugs, alcohol, and food can, addiction
Mess
can
you up.
stem
It
from
can mess you
depression.
up.
Can
It
stem
could
from
stem from
depression.
depression. It could stem from just your mental instability. It could stem from anything.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes they
why I
just
got
want to
addicted
do
to
it.
food, because I was so depressed. But although sometimes depression can also cause you to be addicted to not eating.
That too. You can
Yeah.
develop anorexia for that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, that's what I did. I didn't want to eat because I was that depressed. I lost 15 pounds. I was
Yep.
150 pounds even. Now I'm
Yep.
140, 130 something now.
Nah, you're 120.
Whatever. But still, just as far as that, like I said, if you or a loved one have addiction, any type of addiction, do get some help. Stop it. You can
Yeah,
do it, okay?
go to
Be
your local
stronger than that.
go to your local police station. They'll probably have some help numbers for you, some pamphlets. If you're a vet, call the Veterans Department. There are crisis hotlines for that sort of thing. So seek the help. I know
One
it's
source is what they call it for military.
exactly
One source.
exactly.
Call one source.
And I know addiction can be a hard thing, and you don't want to admit to having the addiction, but eventually you got to be truthful to yourself.
Eventually,
So
you have to. Eventually, you got to tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, you have to stop. You
Yep.
have to stop because so many people love you. So many people want to see you alive and healthy. So many
Exactly.
people want to see you thrive and be great. Be somebody, just be somebody out there.
So yeah,
They want to
like
hold your hand. They want to hug you. They want to see you every day. They don't want to see you in a casket. I promise you they don't. They don't
They
want to see
don't.
you behind bars. They don't want to see that.
So for food addiction, porn addiction, sex addiction, and alcohol addiction, hey, sometimes it just takes the ability to find out that you can love yourself. You don't necessarily need love from other people. Sometimes you got to learn to heal thyself, love thyself, and realize that the need to have a companion or the need to have the alcohol, the drug to feel good, or the food to feel good, that's just a need. What you need to do is live. There's somebody I watch on TV or whatever it was, on a website or something like that. It says the number one rule is don't get dead. So don't get dead. I know it's hard. Addiction is a very hard thing to overcome, but there is help out there for whatever addiction you have. So,
right.
Did you want to add anything more?
Nope, that's all I had to say, Grim.
Okay. Well, on behalf of myself, Star Morning, who shines bright all the time, we want to say thank you for listening to our show. We're hopefully going to get it back up on Rumble in a couple of days. So thank you for coming to Ultimate Truth, where we tell the truth, the whole truth, the ultimate truth, because without truth, you can't have justice. And we are being sponsored by One Gear Radio. Download the one app that'll grind your gears, because we are what FM station want to be. I know I almost said ears.
I mean, like, that actually sounds pretty good. Download that one app that grinds your ears.
Okay. That's another
good.
one.
This
So,
is radio.
Yep. So make sure you download the one app that grinds your gears. For One Gear Radio, download our app on Rumble. Download the Rumble app. Look up Gear Radio and make sure you subscribe and share it to everybody else. So from the man who can't find his right sock, from the man who can't find his right sock, the master of ceremonies, Grim Locke, and my lovely co-host Star Morning, thank you for coming. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Tyree.
Was that really necessary to play all that music?
What do you mean? You were ending the show, right?
Right, but then you played everything.
Okay, I did another one. So what? It was boring. So. So,
no, but I did like the fact that you ended on the Michael Jackson thing.
whatever. Ugh.
Thank you. Is there, if there's a way you can clip where I left and came back, that would be great. If you can't, just make the thing private and I'll do it myself.
Yeah.